10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, how's it going, everybody? We are live once again. I think we're live anyways. I hope we're live. I think we're live. Yes, we are live. Anyways, welcome to the show. I'm just going to hit play on the old VCRs. Every single one of them. And we got some stuff playing already. So you know what that means. I don't want to waste too much more of your time. Yeah. Look at that shot. How do you like that? Oh, yeah. All the TVs. Overhead. Main. Medium shot. Close up. Close up. A little too close. Whoa. Videonics. Might need to tilt that down a little bit. I don't know. Back it up. Anyways, that's the setup. So I think we'll just get right into the show because things are already playing. So let's do this. Yeah.
A magnificent and powerful spirit still stalks the wilds of America. Almost impossible to observe in nature, its solitary ways have
destroyed. For 2,000 years, the Parthenon has stood overlooking Athens, recalling a remarkable moment in history, the Golden Age of Greece.
Perhaps the calls are too chilling, and the herd returns.
You're gonna have sex anyway, why not use a condom?
You see sex everywhere. I mean, in the movies and on advertisements.
You have to do it.
I mean, but like on advertisements, they show a girl with like a thin bikini, a G-string, and everything, and like.
To allow water to stand in pools on its surface. The very earliest forms of life appeared by late March, and oxygen gas became an important part of Earth's atmosphere beginning sometime in late July. Multicellular organisms appeared by October 25th, but it was not until late...
Cut through the pressure, corner 13, high, nice and easy, through the first pressure, that it flowed through the finish corner and cut out through the finish line. I hope you enjoyed the ride. It's going to take 4 perfect runs to win the World Championship.
In perfect harmony. New Canada Dry Green Tea Ginger Ale. Feel good about what you drink.
Nothing, or carve them into some very interesting shapes. Abrasion also happens when rock...
Would you like to try our new whole wheat and honey bag?
Constantly seen in rivers.
Of habit. The multigrain. I want the multigrain.
Whole wheat and honey? I always get the poppy seed, thank you.
Now enjoy one of our 8 kinds of bagel and
medal in the 2-man World Championships across the finish line. By nearly a half second, Switzerland number 2, Reto Goci, have moved into the lead with a time of 3:40.10. The 1990s
of his time
He explored many disciplines, from law and medicine to chemistry and agriculture. And it was this last pursuit that was to lead him into the field of geology.
He had been left a little piece of land, and he decided to become a farmer. So he went to Norfolk, England, and lived with a farmer for a couple of years to learn how to farm, and farmed for 15 years. But while he was farming, and all of his neighbors believed that he was a perfectly good farmer, he was spending a great deal of his time looking and becoming more and more fascinated with the land, what was under the soil that he was tilling.
An important question intrigued Hutton. He saw that land is worn down in many places by the destructive forces of erosion. How then was it possible any...
Over many years, exposure to the weather can damage the marble rock used in sculptures. Look at this old statue and these tombstones.
Those tombstones will soon need their own tombstones.
Water can also combine...
Only in the West is there still enough wilderness to give them sanctuary. And if they are to survive, they must do it here.
A better way to see your world. Saskatoon Credit Union Skycam.
May no longer stir our guarded souls. But the
outside his house and hangs the sacrificed animal there. I have never heard such horrible singing. It's like a growl coming out of their throats, like the barking of dogs, only much more beastly. If a weak child is born there, it's thrown into the sea to say bringing it up.
Egil was by no means a weak child. Like other boys, he played
The star
war.
guest would be the brilliant philosopher Socrates. Usually all male affairs, there was one interesting exception. Foreign women seized in war often became captive entertainers. One particularly clever and beautiful courtesan was Aspasia.
Second off the pace, trying to at least hold on to a 6th place and have the best run so far in the 4th and final heat. The Canadians across the finish line, 55.35. They're in a dead heat. The 0.00 marks the indication.
She stood 5'11" and was a former shot putter and discus and javelin thrower. She led a trio of East Germans onto the medal podium.
Where he had better starts than his teammate Pierre Lueders. And he certainly had a finer night tonight here at the four-man world championship. Lueders is buried somewhere down in around 12th or 13th place. Clean driving by...
The principle of uniformity underlies modern geology. For example, the presence of vast amounts of layered rock in the Grand Canyon can be explained as the result of sedimentation operating over millions of years.
Goodbye.
You've seen the dramatic examples of physical and chemical weathering in nature, but you can see plenty of examples of how weathering affects man-made objects too.
Throughout the 19th century, most scientists have accepted the premise that the Earth must be millions of years old instead of just a few thousand. with some simple logic. They first reasoned that any layered sequence of rocks...
Unprotected wood is quickly damaged by water. Scientists are continually types of paint to...
Up with SaskTel to deliver pay-per-view movies to hotels. Well, soon they were renting TVs and phones to patients and hospitals, and then they bought out an American competitor.
We decided to approach them and see if they'd be interested in selling their Canadian operations, and push came to shove. We made the deal, and here we are in Regina today.
The company employs 320 people. Nearly 30 of them work out of the national headquarters in Regina.
Our cost of business doing business out of Regina would be somewhat lower than doing it out of Toronto, Ontario. Office space, wages are all very competitive here, so it just makes sense for us to be here.
$3,650 a year on cigarettes.
Principles are based on nothing more than common sense.
For Prince Albert. He's been a great tribute to the sport, has represented the sport of bobsleigh tremendously in his role with the International Olympic Committee. See how Albert handles his exit of Kreisel. Very nice. Little bump, little tap. So certainly the bobsleigh world will miss him. And I tell you, from my talks with the Prince, he will miss the sport of bobsleigh. He has enjoyed the camaraderie. He has enjoyed the ability to compete and try to be the best he has. And quite frankly, has enjoyed the fact that it sometimes gets him away from his somewhat high-pressure duties as Prince of Monaco. The exit out of 9, a good piece of driving for Albert. Although not the great speeds were working, his problems came out of Kreisel, but it was a nice entrance and good driving in this portion of the...
Observed cougar behavior only from a distance. Here, in the enclosure, new discoveries may be made close up.
For the Vikings had mastered not only the element of water, but of surprise. A French monk lamented,
"The Vikings overrun all that lies before them, and none can withstand them."
Before long, Egil had risen to command his own ship.
The diver saw a strange shape beneath the sand. He had discovered a classical Greek statue that had sunk with the ship carrying it nearly 2,000 years before. Many now believe this rare bronze was Poseidon, Greek god of the sea. The magnificent statue was one of hundreds stolen in the 1st and 2nd centuries AD by the Romans. Gods like Poseidon
crystallized or petrified, like the trees in a petrified forest.
I'm contacting emergency services.
OnStar reporting a front-end crash on Wakefield Road.
If these cuts or gullies become larger and collect water more often, they become stream beds. The streams, and as you've seen, the rocks they carry, wear down into the ground to form small valleys. As with gullies, the material carried by streams gets deposited where the stream slows on level ground. When streams combine...
Certainly this year, if not over the past couple of decades, but their domination has been incredible. And that is reflected in this man right here, Dirk Wiese.
Irina Rodnina and Alexander Zaitsev. Ekaterina Gordifer and Sergei Grinkov. Natalia.
Start time 5.19. That's the time to beat Mark Touts. He does it by 3/100 of a second.
There's my beautiful van. Is that a Dodge Caravan? Oh, I think it is. Same color, too. Or is that Pontiac? Nope, Dodge Caravan. Woo!
Let's say you were, and you sleep with her.
Oh, God. I mean, they're no longer regulators, they're boys. And they just have nice personalities. And Marty, coming from a farming background.
Memo, is it worth the risk?
No.
It scares me about getting AIDS.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks just like my moon baby when he was a kitten. VHS about cats. How about that, eh?
Working with this cougar, knowing that she had the ability to attack and kill any one of us in a matter of seconds. But I didn't think that this is what she had in mind.
Reaching it, they charged into the building. I've borne the blood-stained sword and bitter spear shaft.
Was an ordinary local woman
right hand as we raised
hallucinogenic leaves. Her answer is garbled messages that the priest would interpret more ambiguously still, leaving supplicants to choose the meaning.
The slumbering farmers.
That's tough. Do that to him, Marty.
My grandson was around 3 at the time, evidently.
Following the matriarch's lead, they all climb into the mud to help.
Born with their eyes closed, they will remain sightless for the next 10 days. Within these fragile forms lives a genetic code called instinct. How much of their lives will be governed by it?
Happy to get a chance to play here, but I like to think it's a two-way street too, that I contributed it and played a part in it last year.
That's the worst.
Herd now bunches against the converging buffalo. Outrage.
The sand in the lower half is its daughter product. The proportion of parent to daughter depends upon how much time.
They also make sure to have their farms growing something, even weeds, as much as possible.
This is how...
Marcel Rohner has had some bright moments this year. Great speed working, 126.8, the clocking kilometers per hour, and a nice exit. He could very well move into first place, or at least second, and win his first ever World Championship medal.
Radioactive.
Waters.
Canadians, an air hole tank. Global's got it. Become alert and curious about the...
Then, with 360 fellow Vikings under his command, he joined the English king. Athelstan challenged his opponent to a pitched battle.
Of course, this woman power closed into the...
Theater became absolutely central.
On left and right, he led the men into the thick of the battle, pressing forward.
You had subsidy from the government, and you also had private support from the very rich. And you had political debate. You had a sense of involvement. The chorus was a device.
Then Egil and his troops caused utter havoc by attacking the Scottish king's unguarded flank. The whole column...
She could have stayed in Corinth.
Medea refuses to accept her husband Jason's decision to abandon her in favor of the king's daughter.
Instead, you talked like a fool. And now what? And now...
February the 14th, 1988. The first full day of competition at the Calgary Games. All eyes turned to the 70-meter ski jump at Canada Olympic Park. Nakanin, the flying Finn, was the talk of the town. He was renowned as much for his brashness as for his jumping. An attitude...
Christoph Langen and company is just a group of tremendous athletes. Perfect cohesion, perfect unison. Langen loading in...
We have new hours and a new menu. Now open every day from 6 a.m. to midnight. Caesar serves Sunday brunch for $5.75. And now, a Sunday evening special for only $5.95. The food's always great, and the service warm and friendly. For family dining, that's Caesar's Palace, cleverly hidden at 1047 Park Street.
Slaves were not fully enfranchised, and they were somehow lesser beings. It was the Boys in the Boys Club that ran the show, and they wanted to keep it that way.
And to some long-suffering...
The province, and the next minute, he's barefoot in the Orient. Who knows where he's going to be?
He's yelling at him, telling him to go back in there.
His style on the ice is wild, out of control style. But people talk to him about it and say, listen, I mean, you're out of control out there. You're going to kill yourself. And he goes, oh, I'm not out of control. He says, I know what I'm doing. Messier and Anderson complement each other. Glenn's happy-go-lucky in a mysterious sort of way. Mark's happy-go-lucky in an obvious sort of way.
Go down, go down, go down!
The form is excluded from the commotion. His gaunt features and sagging skin are sure signs of his age and fading energy for life. With his last set of grinding teeth nearly worn away, his days are numbered.
perhaps dangerously familiar.
Medea, Helen, there are women that we see even today.
Without warning, they appeared one day in the east. An unknown tribe from an unknown land.
And midnight is a magical time.
And Oscar-nominated actress Helena Bonham Carter.
I was made many years ago by a toy maker who was also a wizard. I work partly by magic, you see.
There's the...
When a mud-covered dominant bull returns, the ghostly elephant should retreat. But the water still beckons him. It is a mistake.
There's an element of trust there that he's mine, and he's not with anybody else.
If I live with this philosophy.
It was in this stadium where the Nemean Games were held, one of the 4 great religious and athletic festivals of ancient Greece. The original stadium held 20,000 spectators. The site was excavated by Professor Stephen Miller, who is restaging the games.
I'm not going to do that, no?
His heralds have to be coached and
Anybody
dressed.
have a safety pin?
In the original games, the officials would have been chosen from each city-state.
I usually get a dinner, before this happens. Can I just you?
The ancient Greeks did not take weekends off. They worked every day except for the more than 50 religious holidays and sporting festivals.
And passed on. If they spied an enemy, they would dash in, strike, then flee, only to reappear elsewhere and strike again. If attacked, they could build a fort in an instant.
I'm so happy.
This cheesy moment is just a reminder. When you've got cheese, you've got choice.
No one supports their own.
The project was announced today and is being praised as precedent-setting. It could be used as a national model for long-term care.
Considered barbarians by Christians, the Goths in turn were pushed west by the Huns. One barbarian chasing another. Whenever Goth
constructed the ancient starting mechanism, the hisplex.
I think you can keep.
And 15 dogs if we didn't spay and neuter our animals. So please remember to spay and neuter your pets.
And I think it's important to listen.
4 years later. Andrea Mead Lawrence was a 19-year-old newlywed from Vermont. Her trip to Oslo was virtually her honeymoon. Because of a lack of snow for the Alpine events, Norwegian soldiers put down a foundation of straw and then brought in snow to pack over it, a huge undertaking. Lawrence would win her first gold medal in the giant slalom on Valentine's Day. She attempted the slalom 6 days later. After a fall in her first run, she was in fourth.
Or wild celery wreaths. Back home, they'd be showered with flowers at lavish parades where they'd be drawn around town in the finest chariots. Often, they'd have a statue made in their likeness. If they were Athenian, they'd enjoy free dinners for the rest of their lives.
The most necessary part of their education is play fighting and stalking.
Bands of Goths sought refuge behind Roman borders.
The international sporting event in all the world was held here in 776 BC. The Greeks were the first to elevate athletics to the status of serious competition. Even our word athlete comes from the Greek word athlos, or contest.
built nothing.
As many as 100
chronicles, only desolate.
On an altar in front of the temple of Zeus. Its interior was dominated by a gold-clad statue of the god. Before it, every Greek athlete had to pray before he competed. At the entrance to Olympia was the gymnasium where athletes trained. And
without their horses and their prowess as horsemen, the Huns never would have ridden into history. The young Edico went from the cradle to the saddle.
Scarce has the infant learnt to stand without his mother's aid when a horse takes him on his back. You would think that the limbs of man and horse were born together.
All right, I think we're at the halfway point. We need to add a log to the fire here, so I'm going to do that right now. Yeah, you're not seeing much there. That should help things out a little bit. It's getting hot in here, though. I don't want to overdo it. There you go. A little something, little flame there. Anyways, hope you're enjoying the show. I think we're halfway there. Have some interesting content, a lot of animals, and a lot of Olympic type content, which is kind of cool. Yeah, what else can I tell you? It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. Check this out. Ooh, yeah. Haven't even gotten into the feedback loop here. There it is. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. What more can I say? It's going good. Everything's working. We got some interesting stuff. We really do. We got actually a secondary fire here. Let's see if we can get there. There, look at that. This was a fire video I did in 2019. That's right. All right. Well, I'm gonna just continue the show here and quit yapping. I'm gonna quit yapping because stuff is still playing. I've already flipped a few tapes, and yeah, just sit back and shut off your brain and enjoy the show. It's always a good time to scrape the mental mucus off your brain. So let's get to it.
No weapon could match his own, the Hunnic bow.
100 years ago.
But the Spanish had come to conquer, and the Incas were no match for their military might. By the middle of the 16th century AD, the Inca Empire was crushed.
Glenn Anderson, and I really prefer not to argue with people, and I prefer to walk away. And when you're by yourself, a lot of times they don't let you walk away. When you have somebody with you, it's always nice to have.
Archaeologist Gary Ziegler has dedicated most of his career to studying the life of the Incas and what happened to them as the Spanish grip tightened.
Well, now that you're rested up from flying in here to Cusco, I'd like to show you what we have planned out logistically for this.
This year he's joined in Cusco by British explorer Hugh Thompson.
We'll be following the railroad.
And how are the horses going to...
Oh, this is...
The Athenians tended to dominate in sports and just about everything else, but their winning streak...
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
What are you doing there, Mark?
Doing the spaghetti. Cooked lunch. Wish you guys were here. Yeah.
Then the environmental conditions changed somewhat, where coarser sediment, sands came in and stopped the growth.
And to our Ford Motor Company engineers, it looks like one of the most powerful anti-theft devices ever. Only this key sends...
How cool is that? This is the point of the show where we get a little crazy with the visuals.
Boston Pizza and find out what the
24-hour number.
Pizza.
I will write down the problem, ask them if they're willing to give their name. If they're not, they don't have to. If they want to give a number, that's fine, then we can contact them.
Problems can range from actual physical or mental abuse to complaints over services for seniors. Nicholson will either send out
modern life forms.
Plane crash carrying America's best figure skaters took its toll, and the only U.S. figure skating medal was a bronze to Scott Allen. However, a year after the Games, Vivian and Ronald Joseph were awarded the bronze medal in pairs figure skating when West Germany's Kilius and Baumler were found to have competed professionally.
Winter. It comes to the Sawtooth Range as it has.
Were no less devastating morally than physically. All the old laws, the things that the Athenians had relied on to hold their society together, were shredded.
Winter months from Cusco.
But if Machu Picchu was a winter palace for the king and his guests, how was it supported and serviced? There's no sign of the working quarters you would expect. Gary and Hugh believe that there must have been another site nearby where the Machu Picchu workforce lived and farmed, another Inca city that no one has yet discovered. There's a clue in the writings of Hiram Bingham. He mentions that when he returned to the area in 1912, he came across traces of other ruins. He named them Yactapata, High Town, in Quechua, the language of the Inca. Since then, others have tried to find Yactapata, but all have failed. Now Gary and Hugh are determined to find those ruins. The team goes over Hiram Bingham's original notebooks from 1912. Bingham didn't
Months of ice and snow bury the Idaho wilderness, but mother and cubs survive the onslaught. Then,
The effective way to get supplies through is by road.
In the last year.
Thursday. Did you tell her I may not be alive on Thursday? I hope you do.
Remember the time allowed was 36 seconds.
Will this process...
Get there before me.
Maybe the courts need to get into this and perhaps help people.
And all season long at the no-leaf stage of growth.
Wenn ihr das nicht wieder...
Dass der für den Film nicht bereit.
Underline the forecast.
In de sterren voor Tom.
Eerst wou ik even...
Conceiving and recording his new album, 10 Summoner's Tales, in a
Inte gör någon trend, men intressant är.
The prize for you today.
Yes.
Guess who I've got online too?
Alors cela aussi. Je vais y arracher le persil dessus.
Fernsehen, AR.
Photographs highlight differences in the
Everyday Euros.
Recorded the last words of his friend and teacher.
How much would one of you give to meet Orpheus or Homer? I should like to spend my time there, as here, in examining and searching people's minds to find out who is...
And you can see the heat from the outlier. And
that's
right.
Two temples.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is useful.
Around him, his comrades displayed the wealth of nearly a...
Transported to a private...
The Macedonians, the Romans, the Ottoman Turks.
And record?
Yeah.
Since 1972.
Olympic champion, l'équipe du Japon, the Japanese team.
Downhillers are considered by other skiers to be insane. The quest for gold in the men's downhill had been...
That's why down my pop.
Yeah, true.
Why do you call it mixed?
Demasiado. Too much stuff.
Hi, John.
Hi. How's it going?
Okay. Yeah.
It's the end of the line for the train, and the team rendezvous with the expedition coordinator, John Levers.
From the bridge, we've got the mule.
The duck swam on, blissfully unaware of her narrow escape. The bird dive-bombed.
What kind of bird are you that can't swim? Quacked the duck. The wolf was confused. The bird...
Once across the bridge, the team can load the equipment onto mules and continue their journey towards base camp.
Så jag rekommenderar.
The Kids program will continue to be there as long as there's a patch of ice and kids with greens.
Fourth hand now, Anderson in trouble again. She faces two Manitoba stones, and she needs a piece of the button this time, but again, she has trouble with the draw weight. This one is light as well. Another steal of two for Manitoba, and it's 6-2.
Change. Dust from extremely intense volcanic eruptions possibly cooled the atmosphere enough to change Earth's climate and seriously disrupt the food chain. Or a large asteroid may have struck the Earth, cooling it as smoke and dust blocked out sunlight.
Cubs are transported by helicopter to a remote area of the Idaho wilderness, far from civilization.
Within 2 years, he died. Not...
The wolf stood at the bottom of the tree, looking up at them with hungry eyes.
Or weeks. All right.
A universe without the Fifth Symphony of Beethoven.
Almost as suddenly as the Huns had appeared, they vanished.
This has been a good experience.
It is a scene all too rarely played between man and his environment.
It's hard to go down a street without seeing some vestige of our enthusiasm for a Greek way of life. And we forget that way of life at our peril. It was so effective and so courageous.
Legendary Soviet coach Viktor Tikhonov.
Der Besuch des 38. Breitengrades.
Als ich die ausprobiert habe.
3%. Allerdings die
8. Wow. Dallas by 5 over Washington. The Bulls 105-88 over Atlanta. The Spurs just nipped Houston by 1. LA, well, the Clippers really with no chances here. 118-80 to Denver. Boston, hey, kind of a surprise there. 129-121 in Phoenix. And in the fourth, Portland leads the Wolves.
Still. And great treats and great food.
And shells and insect material. Microfossils are that tool that you need to really reconstruct an environment. They give you much more information about rainfall and climate changes than large bones do. Large animals didn't necessarily live here, they just died here. Whereas a mouse or a gopher probably spent its entire life.
This was his friend.
If the team, the years we remain.
What?
Whose jobs are secure and whose aren't?
The Celts' exploits would be handed down by their victims.
What sort of compass bearing are you getting?
Well, it's probably 100 degrees.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's significantly...
Yeah, and that's how the whole site lines up.
The view one gets from here is directly of Machu Picchu. And in a way, that view helps with our idea that this is just a satellite site of Machu Picchu, a support site.
When the Leafs last won the Stanley Cup was 67, wasn't it?
1967, Dave Keon, Tim Horton, and Johnny Boer.
A place for people to stop on the way to and...
Peter scolded the wolf for swallowing the duck.
Appearing near the beginning of the Cenozoic, the first horses were no larger than dogs and had 4 toes on each foot.
Another rollback. Saskatchewan Volkswagen dealer today and test drive the new Volkswagen Golf, engineered for life.
See Newbridge Motors, 710 Circle Drive, Saskatoon.
Described by Charles Darwin some 150 years ago.
The main thing that Darwin contributed to our idea of life and
On the Movie Channel.
Like the song was almost over, dog. Oh, the song is finito, home slice. This is whack. Hey, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Hunger. It just can't be ignored. Pillsbury Pizza Pop snacks are jam-packed with loads of pizza stuff. Pop your hunger.
There is a range of characteristics, be it different heights, agility, or hair color. Those animals whose features most expose them to danger tend to die out, leaving few offspring. Those animals with more favorable features survive, and through reproduction, pass on these characteristics to future generations. But features favorable at one time won't be favorable during another, and so animals evolve. Yet Darwin's model has run into some difficulty.
Darwin was a gradualist, and that is...
announced his intention of sending his 2 nephews, both of them adventurous young men,
one of a series of sites built here in the Four Corners region about 2,000 years ago. These are the abandoned remains of a series of remarkable buildings, the crowning achievement of the Anasazi people, who, at the zenith of their power in the 11th century AD, dominated a territory larger than any European principality of the time.
Tomorrow from Cynthia.
Better have a beer for him tonight, though.
Well, you can. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're back tomorrow.
See you later.
A CFQC television news presentation.
In terms of geological time, a new species appeared, and there was really very little, if any, evidence for the intermediates.
Today, punctuated equilibrium has been added to Darwin's theory to account for change seen in the fossil record.
A proud member of BBS Saskatchewan.
E2 glasses. Change sometimes virtually spotless with can also take place. The history of life over great
and Channel 11 in Elrose.
Change to new or die out.
During the
This concludes another day of programming on CBC Saskatoon. You've been watching CBC Television on Channel 5 in Pachenak, Channel 7 in Beauval, Channel 8 in Palm Bear Lake and Stanley Mission, Channel 9 at Île-à-la-Crosse and Stranraer, Channel 10 at Pinehouse Lake, Channel 11 in Buffalo Narrows, Montreal Lake and Saskatoon, Channel 12 at La Ronge and Leoville, and Channel 13 for La Loche and South End. Our studios and offices are located in the CN Tower on 1st Avenue North in Saskatoon. This is Eric Forbes wishing you good night from all of us at CBC TV, and we hope that you'll join us tomorrow for another great day of programming on CBC Saskatoon.
All right, how about that as a sign-off? CBC sign-off, how's that? That's nice, yes. All right, that concludes our program for tonight. So I want to thank everyone for joining me. I know we had about 2 viewers, me being one of them. So we had one other viewer. That's better than just me. So good job, whoever you are out there. I have a pretty good idea who it is. It's a magical thing to watch the jams live, although I do put up the high quality recording because it is a little bit higher quality, so look for that. We did end up recording the entire program, so that will come shortly. And yeah, how about them Olympics, eh? Gotta get into Olympic mode, gotta watch all the events, right? There it is. All right. Okay. Well, how about this? We'll catch you on the next one very soon. I'm trying to do the jams more frequently. We're adding more and more stuff. It's getting crazy. Again, thanks for your support. The tapes are ending. We have this bizarre tape here I'm going to go to real quick just to show you. Number 5 here. It's kind of like a home video. How about that, eh? Let's see if we can get some audio here. Oh.
Bugs around here, guys, eh? But I can't.
Some people hanging out.
It's
I have no idea who they are.
Take any pictures.
So you gotta take one of Nancy?
Right.
Anyways, that's that. So yeah, let's call it a day. How about, okay? Oh, I love this angle right here of all the TVs. Look at that. Beautiful. And we're going to end on that note. Should we end on purple? Let's see if we got some purple here. Get it to purple. There we go. Purple. All right. Catch you on the next one. Signing off.